It seems like Connor Zary has become sort of more of a factor for you with every passing game. And, just how impressive has it been to see him seemingly get more confident out there with every shift he takes?
I think very impressive. I think that it took him a little bit of time to adjust to things, but in the grand scheme of it, like we're only a few games in. So he's certainly done a good job of figuring things out. He works well with Ruzicka and Phillips. And, he made some really high-end plays for a young man tonight. He went 7-hole on one shot. That's a goal scorer's goal. On the second one, he kicked it up from his feet, moving at a pretty good rate of speed. So hats off to him, because that's some pretty high-level play.
And, you see a guy who is, 19 years old, and, common wisdom would be that, this guy might not be ready for the AHL, might not be an AHL player at this point, but just the way that he's playing, do you think it's really a stretch to say that if the WHL weren't to play at this point, he would fit in perfectly as an AHL ready player for the whole season?
Yeah, I think that he still needs to grow in areas, but that's no different than anyone else stepping out of junior, except he's a year accelerated there. So good for him in terms of what he's shown so far. But I agree with you. Like, he could step right in. He's done a great job to this point right now. And he's found a way to stick with some guys that are really hot. And so he's a benefactor of that, but also he's found a way to stay with them. Like, we have seen enough from him to be able to keep playing with them. So hats off to that.
We'll go over to Patrick Williams. Patrick, are you there? Nope. All right. Anyone else? Just raise your hand. You can jump right in here for Cail. Darren, go ahead.
I'm trying to be polite and raise my hand. So Cail, Adam Ruzicka, red hot. You talked about Connor Zary. Tell us about the role, though, that Matthew Phillips plays on that line as kind of the veteran. It seems funny to me to call him a veteran, but he is out of those three guys.
Yeah, definitely. He would be considered a young veteran, but he certainly is a big factor. Like, I think it was Connor's second goal, where it's a good example of Matt Phillips gets the puck over the line, then is able to just find some space, let things develop a bit before he gives it to Ruzicka. So he sort of created a gap and, put Ruzicka in a place or a position with some time and space. And they've been doing that for each other. They've been making short, quick plays with each other that have sort of opened up space, but they've also been making more poised, deliberate plays, allowing the play to marinate a little bit and then move a puck at the right time. So Matt Phillips is very good at that. I think he deserves credit for how well things are rolling with that line.
Isn't that one of the things that's the last to come to, is that patience with the puck and being able to hang on to it and that sort of thing? It's that's something that you kind of grow into as you get more experience, more comfortable, more confidence.
Yeah, I think that's a factor of understanding the league more, understanding a little bit more as you get more comfortable knowing when and how your pressure is going to come. But at the same time, I think he's done a job of improving his skill set in terms of his skating. That has made him a little more dynamic there, and he's able to turn quicker, accelerate out more quickly. And that, as a result, it's one thing to sort of see some time, but to be able to capitalize on it. So he's done a good job there.
Just one other question. I want to ask about Glenn Godden. You get Godden back today. You know him well. I think sometimes minor league coaches, there's a lot of hats you have to wear. When a guy comes back from the NHL, they never like that trip. They love to go in the other direction. How would you describe or characterize Godden's return and his attitude, and what do you expect out of him?
I thought that attitude was good. I think he played a solid game. I didn't think that he was dominant in the game, but I think that he played good, solid hockey, which to me is a credit to Glenn. It's a difficult transition to make, but his attitude has been really good the whole time. So there's no flaws in that respect. And I think that it's often difficult to step in and sort of quote unquote tear it up either offensively or defensively at this level after you've been in the NHL. And I think to have to put a good solid game under his belt is something that I think is a win. And you'll see Glenn Godden steadily gain momentum here. And the goal, as we talked about before the game, is to play the right way, have the right kind of details and intensity and habits, so that when he's fortunate enough to get his next look at the NHL level, he can make that last as long as possible.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, we'll go back over to Patrick Williams. Patrick.
Yes, hi, Coach. Just wanted to ask you, what does Garrett Sparks do for your club, having that veteran presence when you do have a lot of young faces in the lineup?
Good point. I think it's just a calming guy, really good team player in terms of how we've gotten to know Garrett over the last few weeks, and certainly a guy that is really excited both for himself, of course, but for his team. Like, you can sense that from him. So that permeates through the whole team. When you have guys that are leaders and they're selfless in that respect, then that is a great example for everyone else. So I think Garrett sort of embodies that. And at the same time, tonight was a really big game for him, and he came up big for us. We gave up a fair amount. We had a little bit of luck, but at the same time, Garrett was there and made some big stops. So pretty big game, pretty big influence on our team tonight.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Paige.
Hi, Cail. Do you guys prepare differently for games like this against teams that you don't really see much of?
Maybe a tad more video than the guys are used to on the opposition. Typically, we try not to watch very much on the opposition and make sure that we focus on ourselves. But when you haven't seen a team ever like this in Belleville, then we have to make sure that we're making the guys a little bit more aware of what they're going to be dealing with. So there was a bit of a difference there.
Mm-hmm. Just another question. Has it been a bit of a relief to get this game in between your next two games against the Marlies again?
Yeah, it's nice to break it up a little bit, for sure. I think, it was a good series with the Marlies, and it'll be good hockey again here. But it's nice to, change it up in terms of the opponents and get to Ottawa and get to a new building and get on the road in general. So I think overall, yeah, it's a good breakup.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Mike, go ahead.
Hi, Cail, coming into this year, I think it would have been safe to sort of, call this year a year where Adam Ruzicka just needed to definitely take that step to just assert himself. And, 3 straight games of 3 points, 9 points in 3 games. And, just seems to be found chemistry, playing with a whole lot of confidence. Is that something that you see in him both on and off the ice?
Yeah, he's a very confident young man, deservedly so. And not in an off-putting way. He's confident. He believes in himself, and you can see that in his skill set on the ice. He's got great poise with the puck, and he's got good strength on it. So I think it's fair for him to be confident, because he can really hang on to it when he gets a chance. And at the same time, Adam and management and myself and other coaches, we've all talked about the idea that he's points are great, and this game is won by goals, but at the same time, in order to stick at the next level, his level of intensity and detail are what are really going to be under the microscope. So it's important that he recognizes, and he does, during this great span of scoring, that he's doing the other things well. And I think he's done a good job of that, and he's got to continue to push that.
And I guess one last thing from me. You lost one of your juniors in Wolf, who went back to Everett, and obviously Zary started this trip with you. And do you just have any update on how long you might be expected to keep him with you?
On Zary, I'm not sure. Obviously they're getting things going, so he's going to be involved in the Western League out there in BC. We'll enjoy what time we get with him. Appreciate his efforts tonight. And don't have him leaving anytime soon here, but eventually he's going to go, and good for him. But certainly, if he keeps playing the way he is, he's nice to have around.